Hello my dear friends, I'm Stanislav Shamayev, a licensed business immigration and corporate attorney in Miami, Florida. Today we're going to be talking about EB-2 NIW visa, and I prepared the Q&A session. I collected all the questions that you guys asked me under my videos, on my Instagram, and my TikTok, and today I'm going to answer all of those. At the end of today's video, you will be able to learn how to get a free evaluation of your EB-2 NIW case. Let's go! Alright guys, but before we begin, smash that like button because you love my content and you appreciate the time that I put into these videos to make you happy and to bring you the best insights from the industry. I got 7 questions from you guys and I sorted them out because a lot of them were kind of the same, or I were able to fit them in one question. So get ready, take your popcorn, your beer or whatever you drink, and let's go. But before we begin this session, let's briefly remind ourselves what is EB-2 NIW visa. This is one of the 2 visas that does not require an employer in the USA. You need to have the advanced degree, which is a bachelor's and 5 years of experience, or master's degree with no experience, or have exceptional ability, which is at least 3 criteria out of the 6. Once we have that, we need to propose what kind of enterprise, what kind of endeavor we will be having here in the US. And that endeavor, I like to call it a project. The proposed project needs to satisfy 2 things. It should resolve some problem, and the resolution of this problem must be in the national interest of the United States of America. And you also have to be well positioned, meaning you have enough education, experience, project, work, skills, certifications, whatever it takes to be able to implement your proposed idea in the US. Now, the question number 1, is the psychology counseling field considered science? Would it fit in the STEM category? Absolutely. Let's start with the last one, the STEM category. What is STEM? Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Absolutely, psychology fits in the science out of the STEM. But let's not stop here because, okay, is it science? Yes, it's science. Is it STEM? It's STEM. We should move on, but I want to comment on this question. I do believe psychology or counseling could be in the national interest of the United States of America, and I had cases where we were able to get approval for psychologists who dealt with home abuse and domestic violence and things like that. So, you know, you definitely resolve some problems, so it has some substantial merit, and the resolution of those problems in the national interest of the US government to have less domestic abuse, or if someone became a victim of domestic abuse, then the ways to get that person out of that psychological mental depression and state. That's definitely a national interest. This profession is a little harder to be a part of EB-2 NIW because I see only 2 ways to get it through. Okay, number 1, you need to open some kind of the school or some kind of organization which will outreach people across the states. Okay, and I think this is difficult not because it's impossible, but because it requires a lot of money. Everything's going to be all right, but the well-positioned part of the EB-2 NIW, the officer is going to say, hey, the idea is great, you guys are going to open up this organization, for profit, not for profit, doesn't really matter, but where is the capitalization of this project? If you have the money to do this, perfect, that we're going to be able to get you through, but without the money, it's going to be really hard. The second option is when you're going to teach other professionals, educate other psychologists or counselors with the new methods, with innovations, how to approach those things. It's possible also, but then we have to show that you must have the teaching experience. This is like a little complex situation. It's possible, but there are certain other things that need to happen. Question number 2. In case I apply for EB-2 visa and get it denied, will I have issues when trying to renew my TN visa in the future? A few explanations needed for this question. First of all, what is TN visa? TN visa is for Canadians and Mexicans and is a non-immigrant, no dual intent visa. Let's substitute TN visa to any other non-immigrant visa. So the question would be, the end of the question, will I have issues when trying to renew my non-immigrant visa in the future? Answer to this question, it depends. Probably renewing the non-immigrant visa that has been issued is not gonna have as much problems as potentially when you try to get a new visa. Okay, let's say you never had a visa, like let's say O1, E2, TN visa, J1 visa, or F1 visa, and you applied for immigrant petition, EB2, EB1, EB3, any, you got denied. You kind of expressed your immigrant intent and it's in the air, so it's like elephant in the room. But from my experience, my clients never had issues with it. So by law, kinda yes, you have some risks, but in the field, in the battlefield, no issues arise. So the answer to this question is double-fold. Number 3, how much time does USCIS take for I140 approval nowadays? I140 is the form that's being filed for most of the EB categories, okay? EB1, EB2, EB3, and EB4. The only category that does not take I-140 is EB-5, the investment visa, when you have to invest $800,000 or $1 million in some kind of enterprise in the US. All other visas, they have to have I-140. That's the immigrant form. The regular processing timing for I-140 could be anywhere from 6 months to 18 months. And you would be like, oh, Stanislav, why is the range so huge? Official website with the processing time is going to be showing something closer to the 18 months with the regular processing. However, sometimes we get approvals much earlier, about 14 months, 8 months, 9 months, 10 months. There is no uniformity in this field. However, some categories do have the expedited processing. For example, EB1A, EB1B, EB1C, EB2, EB-2 NIW, EB3, and EB4, they do have expedited processing. Most of them take 15 days to get approved. However, EB-2 NIW and EB1C, the visa for international managers that are transferred within 2 companies, one outside of the US, one in the US. Those 2 categories, EB1C and EB2 NIW, they get up to 45 days to get approved with premium processing. However, in my experience, this is also about 2 weeks. You guys remember last August 2023, we smashed that record for approval of EB-2 NIW for 1 day. Friday we sent the package, Saturday it got approved. Smash that like button, guys, if you think this is an amazing record and if you want to know more about records like that. Number 4. What are the differences between regular EB-2 visa and EB-2 NIW, National Interest Waiver petitions? I could spend an hour explaining the difference, but because this is a short Q&A session, let's hit the bull's eye. The 2 biggest differences between these 2 visas are, number 1, classic EB-2 requires an employer. You must have an employer. And that cannot be your own company. EB-2 NIW may have an employer, but does not require one. That's number 1. Number 2, EB-2, the classic one, requires the labor certification. That is the process that may take up to 1.5 to 2 years when you actually test the labor market in the US, searching for the candidates among the American employees who may take up the position. And the certification states that you did that and you did not find a willing candidate for that. All right? So that's the labor certification. EB-2 NIW does not require this process because it's NIW, National Interest Waiver, meaning that the project that you're bringing in the US is so valuable that the United States of America is willing to sacrifice one American employee's position. These are the two huge differences. There are a lot more going on between these two visas, but these are the basic ones and the most fundamental. Number 5, can I file under category of EB-2 NIW and another category simultaneously? And before I answer this question, guys, let me know in the comment section if you like these Q&A sessions going on, if you want me to do more of those for other visas or continue doing this with EB-2. So please let me know so I could figure out if I'm not wasting my and your time. Can we file EB-2 NIW and other petitions at the same time? And the answer to this question is absolutely yes. We can file EB-2 NIW, EB-1A, and also EB-2, EB-3, EB-4 if you're a religious employee, and even EB-5 if you want to invest $800,000 in the US economy. There's no limit on the number, how many different petitions you can file, and how many petitions within one category you can file and refile. So let's say you filed your EB-2 NIW, it got denied, you can then refile it unlimited number of times. Number 6. I want to get the EB-2 NIW, but a lot of firms require ongoing research. Is it necessary? Not sure which firms are you referring to. I guess you're referring to the other law firms who are dealing with EB-2 NIW. And let me tell you guys, if you have an ongoing research, and I guess I understand why those firms that require that, because it's a slam dunk case, because it is going to be approved, okay? There's no questions asked. And I know some of you guys ask me, Stanislav, some firms, they say we guarantee money back refund if we don't get approved. These kind of firms, they may do this, because if you get denied with the ongoing research, I mean, that's almost impossible. So they have no risk, basically, right? But if you have a more complex case, and usually my cases are all complex or they're more difficult than others, then of course there could be no refund because it's all subjective, right? So if you have an ongoing research, yes, definitely, you're gonna get approved and have almost no risk. But in 95% of my cases do not have that, all right? But at the same time, I have 95 approval rates for my EB-2 NIWs. Without even ongoing research. So why is it happening? Because I have the processes in place. I have this specialty in this visa. I have the whole team who's leading your case. We have the templates of documents, examples of documents, and everybody's working to get the result for your case. It's not about the ongoing research. It's about the specialty, experience, and skill of the team, okay, and the whole corporation, and that's what we're doing here. And the last one, number 7. But before I proceed with this question, guys, get the free evaluation of your EB-2 NIW case. How to do this? Go down below this video and find the link that's gonna say free evaluation. Fill out the form, and within 2 days, I'll get back to you and analyze your case, telling you if you have the case, if you maybe have another visa, which criteria will satisfy, which we need more work on, and if you have the potential in a case. And if you do have the potential, I will invite you to the complex immigration planning, where I will build the winning written strategy for your visa. Number 7. What is the recent EB-2 NIW approval rate in my company? There you go, guys. I already answered this question. The approval rate is about 95%. And let me give you the most recent approvals in this category. Number 1, the guy who opened up an art studio in New York and made up a concept of how little kids gonna come and paint some paintings. They use the ropes from the ceiling down they put the buckets on those ropes, they put the paint in those buckets and made a bunch of holes on the bottom. And then the kids come, they swing those things, and the canvas on the floor gets some paint, some crazy colors. Then kids look at them like, oh my god, this is so good. Maybe they will become future Picassos or Salvador Dali. By the way, guys, yesterday I went to St. Petersburg, Florida, and went to Salvador Dali's museum. If you guys are Salvador Dali's fan like me, I do recommend to do this. It's amazing. They have a lot of original paintings there. It's just very, very good. This guy, he got this studio, and he also made up some, you know, dating things. When people come, and boyfriend and girlfriend, and they paint each other, whatever. It's just a nice, you know, nice idea. And he needed like 5 employees there, and this thing just played up. You know, it was like really good. People started coming. They did some marketing on that, and then the local news came, like, oh my god, the success. So this thing was very successful, and they're like, oh my god, this is working. They opened up the another studio like that in Los Angeles and started working on opening up one here in Miami. So each one had 5 employees, and then they started thinking about franchising this thing. And let me tell you guys, this whole thing was happening like online, like streaming live, because I was the witness of this project scaling, and I was the one helping the client with the strategy how to scale this thing. And if you ask what are the national interests here? Well, 2 of them. The economical one. Why? Because the employees, okay, 15 employees like going right now, and also the cultural. Because kids come and they love it, and they get to know the art and the paint. They see themselves as artists. So maybe, like I said, some of them are gonna grow up and become a famous artist. Okay, so 2 interests, really good case. Number 2, the guy who developed the technology of drones that may fly with heavy weights. Those drones could be used for military and for civil purposes, okay? I mean, nothing more I can give you nothing more. This was his project. He was successful doing a few of those things. So he didn't do a fully blown project like that before. It was like a projection, but he had a few things that worked and provably worked. So he got approved real fast, no problem. And the third one, the guy brought to the US the technology of how to build a better base for the houses. And he developed that technology back in his countries, and he wanted to implement that innovation through some construction company in the US. So those are 3 recent cases, really good. I like EB-2 NIW, guys. My team is specializing in that. We've done a lot of cases with 95% approval rate. So get your free evaluation form. That's your first step on our way to come to the US. Then you come for the complex immigration planning, and then you sign a contract with us, and we start working for the next 6 months for your case. My name is Stanislav Shamayev, a lawyer of the future. Your future begins here. Good luck.